Okay, this is Keto343, and this is going to be my first video where I'm going to go over how you can use RSS feeds and combine it with IFTTT, and together they're going to be pretty awesome, right? So essentially, I'm just going to go through the post that I've written on my blog at keto343.wordpress.com, and then, but this will just give you a visual so that way you can actually see what it'll actually look like, okay? So first, we're just going to go over what actually like RSS feeds and IFTTT is. So if I just go through my post, essentially I just talk about how you can use it. This is a quick summary where I just use these two to essentially send you an email whenever you have some update that you care about on a site. So then, okay, so RSS feeds. So what does RSS stands for? I don't really care. You can look it up. All that you really need to know is that RSS provides like the text of a website rather than like the entire website. So for instance, instead of getting like all the pictures and links and stuff, you just get the headlines. This is really useful because that way you can just search the headlines really quickly, and that's essentially what we'll be doing. How do you find RSS feeds? Usually you can just see if the website has an RSS feed. So like for instance, if you look up, you're trying to look for this icon. So if you look up the, whoa, there we go, RSS icon. It looks like, come on, looks like this, right? It's just like that orange square with like the satellite looking thing on it. So for instance, if you go to my website actually, so here we go, you'll see that on the right there's this little icon, and if you click on it, this is the feed, right? This is what we care about. All we really care about is actually the URL, but this is what like a feed would look like typically. But sometimes the feed can look a little bit fancier. So for instance, if I go to EG Scans, I know that they have like a fancy RSS feed. So if I click on the RSS icon, you get this instead. So instead of all this code looking stuff, you kind of just get like this website. This is usually by some sort of provided thing. So like they're using FeedBurner essentially. This doesn't really matter because for our purposes, both of these work fine because all you really care about again is the URL. Okay, so sometimes you might not see a RSS feed sometimes. So sometimes you might have to like see if you can cheat it. Okay, so a couple tricks is that you can try adding /feed to the end of a website, like a website URL, or you can add a /RSS sometimes and see if one of those two brings something up. Otherwise, you might be out of luck, but you can just go ahead and Google it and just like Google like the website and RSS feed and see if it'll pop up. So for instance, like if you go to any Tumblr URL, you can add /RSS and you can get the RSS feed for like that Tumblr post or whatever. Let's see. Anything else in here? Yep, so those are the two tricks that I would do. Otherwise, hopefully you can actually see the RSS icon, and that's how you find RSS feeds. So now we know how to get RSS feeds. Now we're going to see how we're going to use that with IFTTT, right? So what is IFTTT? So IFTTT stands for if this then that. So this stands for some sort of trigger, and that describes some sort of action. So a way to think about it is instead of like if this then that, you can also think of it as if or when something occurs, then do something, right? So if the thing you're trying to do can be broken up into that kind of format, that's really good. And that means that you could probably use IFTTT for that kind of purpose. Okay, so I put an example in here. So for instance, if I wanted to get in text or email to bring an umbrella whenever it rains, I can just say, like in the format, it would be if the weather forecast says it will be rainy, then send an email to me saying to bring an umbrella. So the trigger is that the weather forecast says it's rainy, and the action is to send me an email to bring an umbrella. All right. So if you can define the this and that, you can use IFTTT. Okay, so how do you set IFTTT up? So it's really easy. It's free. So all you do is go to IFTTT.com. Oh, so usually you'll get something that looks like this, and then you'd click join, and you just put in like your username, email, password, all that good stuff. And then you click create account, and then it'll send you like a verification email, and then you just like click on that and you just click verify, and you can and then you just set up your account. Okay, once you set up your account, you want to sign in. So here we go. This is me. Oops. Well, actually, hold up. I actually have a slightly different email. Actually, I don't know if it matters if you guys see or not, but don't worry, I'll bring it back real quick. Okay, here we go. Okay, so different email. Let's see. So you set it up, right? And then once you set up, you want to click on like My Recipes, and you'll be sent to your recipe page. And you click on Create a Recipe. Okay. So you want to first define the trigger. So first, okay. So let's say you want to, like, I need an example here, right? So let's say I want to follow. Say if you wanted to follow all the posts on my website. Okay. So say you go to keto 343.wordpress.com. So go to my web homepage. You can click on the link, and I got my feed, right? So go ahead and copy that URL. So going back to my recipe, you're going to choose a trigger channel. The trigger you're going to look for is feed, okay? So feed, you can search it, and you just click on feed, right? Or you can literally just scroll down and get feed. Easy, right? Now you get to choose the trigger. So you get one of two options. So I described this in my post, but I can just tell you what they are. So you can just literally read them. One is a new feed item. So this triggers every time a new item is added to the feed. So for instance, if the person you're looking for is like everything they do is you think is interesting, but like say they don't update that often, so like usually you're like constantly checking or like waiting for them to do something, this one's a pretty good one, right? But say you're looking at like a site, for instance like EG Scans, right? They're doing like tons of manga, right? But I don't read all their manga, so I don't want to get like a post, for all the new chapters that they upload. So then you would just pick new feed item matches. So what you do is that you type in a phrase that would search for in the whenever the feed gets updated, and if that word is inside the post, then it would trigger, right? Usually I use this one, but for some websites where I actually do like everything they do, but it's pretty slow, I use this one. Okay. So let's say we're going to do it for me. So let's just pretend that you like everything I do, right? So all you do here is that then you just paste in the URL and then you create trigger. Okay. Then that's the trigger, and then you need to create the action. And so the action is an email. So email's right here. You can just click on it. And then you say send me an email, right? And then it would just send, like, here's the subject of the email, here's the body of the email. You can edit it however you want. Usually this is pretty good. You could always, like, maybe if you wanted to, you can add like keto 343, like, and that way you know like where it's coming from or something. But I usually just leave it like that. You just click create action, and then you're essentially set. All you need to do now is, like, if you wanted to create some title for it, you can be well, there was like the email there, but like whatever. You can say, I don't know, like updates from keto 343, right? That's the title of it. Okay. So there's actually two ways to do it. One, you can actually do the email. The other one you can do is going on back. Is you can also actually use Gmail as well. So in Gmail, you would say send an email, and then you would like type in the address that you'd be sending these things to. Okay, and then yeah, so you actually can send up to 5. And this is the case because like the email channel, like even though it's nice, it only does it for one specific email address. Like, and you have to like tell it like what it is. But if you do the Gmail, you can actually send it to whatever Gmail address you want. Okay, you click create recipe, creates the recipe, and then you have it right here. Oh, I forgot to change the name, but that's fine. Let me check if there is anything else I've written about this thing real quick. Let's see here. Yeah, so this is actually, so that's it. Okay, and then if you wanted to edit it anytime, you can just like click on this like pencil thing. You can like edit this now, so correct this thing, so it's like updates from keto 343. You can also change the URL or however you want to do it. Click update. Okay, so so this is like how you do it. So first you want to find a feed. You want to do like send an email, right? And then make sure this is obviously an email that you check all the time, and then you can easily just follow all kinds of different things. Okay. So for instance, let's see. So I'm just gonna delete this because I don't really need it. But I had a whole bunch of examples on here. So for instance, tap.net. He does SAO, so Sword Art Online light novel translations, but he's like pretty slow, right? But so because of that, I use trigger number 1, which is like every time you update something, he sends it to me, and then this is like the URL, the RSS feed link, right? So for instance, like how did I find it? I use the trick. Oh, so this is like the format is like how do I find the RSS? What trigger did I use, and like what's the purpose of it? So for instance, if I went to tap here, there's actually like I looked. Oh, okay, technically, if you don't see the button, you might see this, and then like I'll be looking at RSS-posts. I actually like completely missed this, but I added in /feed anyway, and it worked the same. So actually, if you see something like this too, sometimes it's not a bright orange button. Maybe you like control find RSS or something and see if you can find it. Okay, that was my mistake, but hey, if that wasn't there, you could still use /feed and it would still work. Okay. Anyway, so that's how I got that URL, and then I use trigger 1. So for instance, like if you see it here, it's like tap. This is let me see. So here you go, right? Tap, feed. Here's the URL, and then action, of course. Okay, let's see. And then I did the same thing for iManga scans. So there's an anime called Baby Steps that I follow. So you can go ahead, and if you do this, go to imangascans.com. Okay, I'll just let that load for some reason. Okay, anyway, but then you can just say like keyword baby steps. Oh yeah, so okay, fine. My bad. So let me go back. So for instance, if I was to look at this one, oh, here we go. Here's the button. Hey, button, fancy button, nice. Copy URL. You know the drill, right? So if I go to that one, it's this guy. Now this is where you can type in, like it'll look like this. Instead of just having the feed URL, you would have a keyword or a simple phrase. You just type in your keyword. In this case, it was baby because baby steps obviously always has baby. This is actually really nice for all the anime and manga websites, because almost every time there's an update, there's always like the title is like in the post title, of course. So it would be like baby steps chapter whatever, or I don't know. I think I followed another one that was like Shigatsu something, and you just like it would always have Shigatsu, right? Or so you can use this to follow that. Then there's like the easygoing scans one, the Shigatsu that I was talking about. Easygoing scans, again, I actually just used this URL, and that was perfectly fine. So it doesn't always have to be like /feed or whatever if it's a provided one. Just going through these, and then Kami subs, right? You can just use Kami subs /feed. If you like everything they do, which I usually do, that's pretty okay. Otherwise, I don't think this button works. Like it does like some other weird one, but if you do, let's see, do they have an R? Yeah, here we go. It's a entries RSS. It's the same thing, okay? And then if you don't like all the anime they do, I could always just type in, say, / whatever they do. So for instance, cross or something. This is totally fine. Okay, and then this one's animetake.com. This is actually like my favorite site. This is super useful for all the anime stuff. So for instance, every time there's a new anime, they'll post it here. If you go to the feed, I think this one's actually a lot harder to find. But if you do /feed, you're like in business, right? So you do /feed, /feed, here we go. And then you're pretty much set. And then you can just use this, and then every time there's a post, you can go ahead and follow anything. But what's really nice about this site is actually not only does the main website have a feed, but like a specific anime has a feed. So for instance, I'm just going to make one up. Let's say we follow this guy. I have no idea what this is. But if you go, oh yeah, so you have to click on the downloads. This brings you like to like the episode download link. You don't want that. This is like the page where all the links for that specific series is. So you like 1 and 2. But if you add /feed at the end of this, so /feed, you actually get an RSS feed of just that anime series, right? So this is really cool because now you can use trigger 1 because anytime there's an update for that anime series, you can go ahead, like it would send you an email, right? So for instance, I think I did it for examples where Fairy Tail and Naruto, so if I can find these real quick. Yeah, I mean, it's essentially going to look exactly the same, but can I... Geez, it's around here somewhere. Okay, let's see, Naruto, and... Come on. I might have missed it somewhere. Okay, whatever, the process... Oh, here we go. Finally got one, right? You can go to Naruto and do feed. Oops. I want one. There we go. And now, like, anytime there's a new Naruto episode, I get a freaking, like, I get an email about it. Easy, right? Fairy Tail, same thing. You know, it's like, boom. And I get an email. And the email, I think, usually sends you, sends you the link. So you can actually just click the link directly, and you go straight to the download page. Like, what? That's crazy, right? That's awesome. Jeez, that's exactly what I was talking about. Like, that's... Like, this anime take, how they have... I say take, whatever. I say take for some reason. Whatever. But, yeah, you can just follow any freaking anime just like that. It was just easy peasy, right? And then, again, I was talking about how you can use... and if you look at this individual scanlators for your manga, this is perfect for that too. Or your favorite fan sub, like as I was saying, Kami is Kami subs, or like whatever you follow, right? I think the one that I had problems with that you couldn't really follow that well was Horrible Subs, but if you just follow it on Anime Take, your Horrible Subs shows up on there like almost all the time, so you can usually do that. Okay, yeah, so that's how you find RSS feeds. That's what I introduced you guys to IFTTT and how you can use them together to like follow all the awesome stuff that you want to follow, you know, without and then just sends you an email so that way you don't have to like constantly check like their website or something to see if something new pops up. So it's actually really useful. Like, holy, but yeah, useful, right? Like, okay, really useful. Whatever. Okay. So yeah, so that's my video right there for this tutorial. I hope you like it. Again, just go to keto343.wordpress.com for all my posts. I usually have like some tutorial posts like this or some update posts. So the updates are usually, of course, I'm not going to do any videos on those, but most of the tutorial posts or like program posts, I'm going to be doing those videos as well. So keep an eye out. Thanks for watching.